My name's Mara Whitfield. I'm 33, and for 6 years, I thought I'd finally found a family that wanted me at the table. Turns out, I was just renting a seat. It started with a text, not a call, not even a real conversation. A text from my sister-in-law, Diane, 3 days before Christmas, while I was standing in the frozen foods aisle holding a bag of green beans I didn't even need. Hey, Mara, so this year, it's gonna be immediate family only at the house. Hope you understand. Things have just been a lot, and honestly, you kind of embarrassed Tom in front of people. Nothing personal. Nothing personal. I read that line probably 11 times, standing right there in that aisle, cart drifting, some guy trying to get past me to the ice cream. Tom's my husband. Tom's brother is married to Diane, and apparently I'd been quietly ruining Christmas photos for 6 years without anyone telling me. I want to back up though, because you need to understand how we got here. And it wasn't one text. It was years of it, honestly. Little cuts you don't notice until you're bleeding out. I married into the Whitfield family at 27. Big Ohio family, the kind that does matching pajamas and 12 people crammed into one kitchen on Thanksgiving. I loved it at first. I really did. I grew up in foster care, bounced through 4 homes by the time I was 16. So a loud, messy, too many cousins Christmas felt like something out of a movie I never thought I'd get to be in. Diane never liked me. I knew that early. She had this way of laughing just a half second after everyone else, like she was deciding whether your joke deserved it. She'd correct the way I set a table. She'd mention at every single holiday how some people didn't grow up with etiquette, looking dead at me while she said it. I let it go every time because I didn't want to be the reason there was tension. I didn't want to be the one who ruined it. Tom noticed some of it, not all of it. He'd say, "That's just how Diane is," like that was supposed to make it hurt less instead of just making it permanent. So when that text came through, standing there in the frozen aisle, something in me went very quiet. Not angry, not yet, just quiet, like a door closing somewhere far off in a house. I put the green beans back. I didn't buy anything that day. I drove home, sat in my car in the driveway for a long time before I went in, and I did something I hadn't done in 6 years of biting my tongue. I called Diane back. She picked up on the second ring, breezy, like she hadn't just detonated something. "Oh, hey, did you get my text?" "I did," I said. "I just have one question. Who decided I embarrassed Tom? You or him?" There was a pause, a real one, and that pause told me everything I needed to know about what Christmas was going to look like this year. The pause lasted maybe 4 seconds, but it felt like Diane was doing math in her head, trying to figure out how much truth she could afford to hand me. "Mara, come on," she finally said. "It's not like that. It's just this year's different. My mom's not doing great, and we want it small and calm, you know? No offense. You said I embarrassed Tom in front of people." That's a direct quote, Diane. I've got the text right here. I was being dramatic. I didn't mean it like, "You typed it out, sent it." That's not dramatic, that's a decision. She didn't have an answer for that. I heard her exhale, the kind of exhale people do when they've been caught holding something they thought was safely hidden. I hung up before she could smooth it into something softer. Then I sat in my kitchen and waited for Tom to get home because I needed to hear this from him, straight, no filter. He walked in around 6, tired from work, and I just handed him my phone with the text pulled up. I watched his face while he read it. I've learned you can tell a lot about a person by what their face does in the first 3 seconds before they remember they're supposed to react a certain way. His face did nothing kind. "Okay, that's not great wording," he said. But Diane didn't mean, "Did you know about this?" before she sent it. He didn't answer fast enough. That was the answer. "Tom, it came up," he said quietly. "At Sunday dinner, Diane said maybe this year should just be family. And I said I'd talk to you about it." "You didn't talk to me?" "She texted me in the grocery store. I was going to." "When? After the 25th? He didn't have an answer for that either. 6 years of marriage, and I was learning in real time that when it came to choosing between his wife and his family's comfort, he needed time to think about it. That should have told me everything, but I still asked the question I already knew the answer to. "Do you think I embarrass you?" "No. God, no, Mara. It's not that." "Then what is it?" He rubbed the back of his neck, the way he does when he's about to say something he already knows is a mistake. You say things sometimes, bring up your background, or you correct people, or you get quiet, and it makes things awkward. Diane's she notices that stuff more than I do. There it was, 6 years of trying to fold myself small enough to fit their table, and my own husband had just handed me the receipt. I didn't cry. I want you to know that, because I know how this sounds, like it should end in tears. It didn't. Something colder took over instead. Something I recognized from a long time ago. From 4 different foster homes where I'd learned the exact moment a place stopped being mine. "Okay," I said. "Then I won't come." Tom looked relieved. That's the part that still gets me. He looked relieved. I told Tom I wouldn't come, and for 2 days, that was true. I let them believe it. I let Diane believe her text had worked exactly the way she wanted it to. Quiet, clean, no mess, No embarrassing sister-in-law standing in her mother's living room ruining the photos. But here's something people don't understand about people like me. People who spent their childhood being moved out of houses on short notice. Being told this isn't working out by strangers who were supposed to be family for a while. You learn to read a room fast. And you learn that being told you're not wanted isn't always the end of the story. Sometimes it's just information. So I used those 2 days. I called Tom's mother, Carol, directly. Not to complain. I've never once gone to Carol with a complaint about Diane in 6 years. And I wasn't about to start now. I called her because Carol's the one who actually built that family. The one who taught all 4 of her kids to cook her mother's stuffing recipe. The one who cried the first Christmas I spent with them because she said the table finally felt full. Carol, it's Mara. I heard it's immediate family only this year. There was a silence on her end that told me she hadn't fully signed off on this the way Diane made it sound. Who told you that? Diane, 3 days ago, over text. Over text? Carol repeated, flat, like she was writing it down somewhere in her memory to deal with later. I didn't ask her to fix anything. I didn't ask her to overrule Diane. I just told her the truth, plainly. The way I'd learned to tell the truth after years of it not being believed by people who had every reason to believe me. I told her what the text said. I told her I embarrassed Tom, apparently. I told her I wasn't calling to cause a problem. I just thought she should know what was being decided in her name. Carol went quiet for a long moment, and then she said something I've turned over in my head 100 times since. Mara, honey, this is still my house until I say otherwise. Nobody uninvites anybody from my Christmas table. I thanked her. I told her I appreciated it, but that I didn't want to show up somewhere I wasn't wanted just because I had permission from the top of the ladder. That's not how I was raised to walk into rooms. Then don't walk in quiet, Carol said. Walk in exactly how you are. Let them deal with that. I hung up the phone and sat with that for a long while. Tom still didn't know I'd made the call. He still thought I'd folded the way I always folded. The way 6 years of practice had taught him I would. Christmas Eve, I packed a dish. Not just any dish. The stuffing. Carol's recipe. The one Diane had never once managed to get right in 6 years of trying. And on Christmas morning, I got in my car. The drive to Carol's house takes 18 minutes from mine. And I remember every single one of them. Not because I was nervous, because I wasn't. And that surprised me more than anything else that day. I parked behind Diane's SUV. I could see them through the front window before I even reached the porch. The whole family, minus me, minus the empty chair nobody had bothered to remove from the table. Tom was standing near the fireplace, laughing at something, looking exactly like a man who'd made peace with an absence. I didn't knock. Carol had told me not to walk in quiet, so I didn't. I opened the door the way I used to when I actually belonged there. Dish in my hands, coat still on, cold air following me into that warm room. The laughing stopped first. Then the room turned, one face at a time, like a slow wave. Diane's face did something I'll remember for the rest of my life. It went from confusion to panic to something close to fear, all in about 2 seconds. Mara, she said. You thought I wasn't coming? I said. I know. You made that decision for me over a text message in a grocery store. I set the stuffing down on the table, right in the empty spot that was apparently still mine. But this isn't your house, Diane. It's Carol's. And Carol invited me. Every head turned toward Carol, who was sitting at the head of the table with her hands folded, watching this unfold like she'd been waiting for it. I did, Carol said simply. I invite whoever I want to my table. That's not changed in 40 years, and it's not changing today. Diane's mouth opened, closed. Tom crossed the room toward me, low voice, asking what I was doing, and I looked at him, really looked at him, the way you look at someone when you finally stopped hoping they'll surprise you. I'm having Christmas with your mother, I said. You're welcome to join me. I want to tell you, the whole room erupted into applause, that it was some big dramatic movie moment. It wasn't. It was quieter than that, and honestly, quiet suited it better. Carol patted the chair beside her. Tom's younger sister, who'd never said much of anything in 6 years, got up and hugged me without a word. Diane sat frozen at the far end of the table, finally understanding that the room she thought she controlled had never actually been hers to control. Tom sat down next to me eventually. He didn't say much that day, but he reached for the stuffing before anyone else did, and he ate 2 full servings. And I let that be enough for that particular afternoon. Things didn't fix themselves overnight. Tom and I had a long talk that January, the kind where you find out whether 6 years was built on something real or just on me being quiet enough to fit. We're still working on it. Diane and I still don't speak much. And honestly, I've made peace with that. But every Christmas since, I show up exactly how I am. Nobody's uninvited me again.